Uh-oh. Let's see. There we go. Now you're off the ceiling. Hi guys, it's Christina at Cardinal Rose Creations, and I'm going to show you how to do the We the People Tumbler tutorial. I've had some requests for it. The only thing is I really need to raise up my camera, so bear with me. This is the very first live I have done on YouTube, so it's just working out all the kinks. All right, now I think you can see me. Okay, so here we are. I need to lift you up just a bit. My tripod's being a pain in my butt today. All right, now you can see. All right, let's see what we got there. All right, we're good. So, if you have any comments or questions, please feel free to ask. I will try to get back to those as soon as I see them. I'm not sure how this whole live thing works, so we're going to learn together today. So the first thing that you need is your We the People sheet. And I have printed this out so that you can see it. So I need something. Hang on. I'm really sorry, guys, for the lack of knowledge on how to use this and my tripod being broke. I just need it to raise up just a tiny bit so you can see what's going on without me having to work way over here. Actually, you know what? Let me just scoot you in so I don't have to work way over there. Okay, there we go. We're good to go. Yay! Okay, so you're going to need your We the People sheet, and I've printed it out. I just went on Google and found this sheet for We the People. And then you're going to need your tumbler, which I showed you on part 1 how to paint that with the blue section and the red. So there's that. You're also going to need a lighter. It doesn't have to be this kind, but let me tell you, this kind's going to save your fingers. If you use this kind, it's going to get hot. So the first thing you want to do is you want to take and you want to start ripping your paper. I printed this on cardstock, and I've never done one on cardstock, so let's just hope that this works out okay. I have a feeling it's going to be a little harder to work with, so we'll see. So I'm just tearing a little bit away from the printed area because I want to be able to cut, or not cut, I'm sorry. I want to be able to burn it and keep the length of it. So this will kind of give me extra room to work. And it doesn't have to be perfect, obviously. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to start with the We the People section. And I'm just going to tear, and I'm going to try to hold my finger there so that I know it won't tear too far down or too far up. All right, see how that is? Okay, so then I'll leave that section alone. And then I'm just going to continue to tear my pieces however they may come. And I try to keep them kind of even, so it's not like a big one on one end and then like it gets super tiny towards the other end. Once you burn this, this is when it's going to start looking even better. So I'm going to tear this one in half because I don't want it quite that wide. All right, so now we have 5 pieces to work with. I do believe I have a few extra pieces that have already been done if I need them. So we're just going to get to it. So I'm just going to move these all to the side and get them out of the way. And we're just going to start burning. So what you want to do is start at one end. And this isn't going to burn as easy as regular paper. So that might be helpful. You're not going to want to do this directly underneath a smoke detector because it will set it off. And I will tell you, this is easier with regular paper and a lot faster. It burns a lot faster with regular paper. So I'm just letting that burn until I like the effect that it has, and then I'll just kind of knock off the burnt pieces. And you can do this outside too. That might be helpful. If the smoke and everything bothers you. It's kind of cold here, so I wasn't going to try to take my camera and everything outside. Yeah, this goes a lot faster with regular paper instead of cardstock. So just tap it and it'll kind of put the fire out. Okay, and then I'm going to turn it and do the end as well. And I like how it kind of gets the black on the end because it just makes it look really cute. It helps with the effect we're going for. I saw a little bit of white, so I'm just going to get rid of that. So now the bottom. And I'm going to try to run through this kind of quickly because there's 5 pieces I have to do all on live. And I don't want this tutorial to be forever long. Which is why I've been doing this in parts, because I don't want to keep y'all here forever. All right, so now you can kind of see that you get all these little jagged edges and stuff, which is pretty cool. So I'm just going to continue to tap this off so it'll quit burning because it's still got a little red line on it. You can kind of just put it out. With paper, it puts it out a lot faster than the cardstock. Okay, let's see. I see I've got some viewers. Hi. I don't really know how to work the live on YouTube yet, so I'm not sure where I'll see your comments if you comment. And I can't see who it is that's there, so hi. If you have any questions, though, make sure you ask, and if I don't see them on the live, I will get back to you on those questions as soon as I get off of the live. And this is messy, guys. Messy, messy. All this burnt stuff gets everywhere. But it's worth it in the end. These cups are so beautiful. All right, so I'm just going to turn this around, and I'm going to put that side out because I've got to have somewhere to hold it without burning myself. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this end. And the other side. Sometimes you can't even tell if the side's been done. You kind of have to look at the back of it. I'm just kind of blowing it out as I go. And I need to get that out because otherwise it'll burn that paper straight in half. And I don't want that to happen. So, see how it's nice and thin at one end? Like, I kind of like that effect. But if you don't like that effect, just don't let it burn as long. That's the beauty of these, though. Like, you can really just do them however you want. There's no wrong way, really, to do these. My fingers are going to be black from putting the paper out. And let's see, what did I do with those? Baby wipes are really handy to keep on hand for this process because it kind of wets all that soot so that you won't blow it everywhere. You can just wipe it up every little bit just so that you don't have a ginormous mess, especially if you're doing it in the house. Okay, I'm going to let that keep burning because there's still a little bit of white and it'll go away with the burn. With a little bit of smoldering that's left going on. Goodness. The fun begins once you get to start putting this stuff on there. I did one for a lady for her dad, which was pretty cool. What I did was I downloaded this paper and, or I downloaded old paper actually. It looked like this, just old paper, but I printed it out and then I went back in and typed just on a white canvas. I typed in his name and his date of birth and his date of death and the branch of military that he was in. And I printed it out over the top of that old paper that I had just printed. And then I did the same with his picture and put all that on the cup in the same fashion I'm going to do this. And oh my God, guys, it like turned out so pretty. I need to put a picture or a video of that cup up on my channel so that y'all can see that because it turned out so pretty. And it was a perfect way to memorialize her father who had just passed back in June. I wish I could see comments so I could talk to somebody instead of just myself. And this will be saved. So if you can't stay for the whole live, I totally understand. You can come back and watch it because this is kind of a long process. And then you can fast forward and stuff. And you won't have to watch me do everything. See, I love how that gets that smoky look because it like gives it the smoke effect. All right, so now let me get this side put out. Let me wipe up my mess so I don't get it everywhere. And you can just take like even your baby wipe if you want and just rub the side and it'll put it out. Okay. Next side. We have one more of these to do after this one, and we'll be on to the actual cup, which I know most people are probably excited for, because this is the tedious part of it, guys. I guess I should have, or I could have done some of these before I came on live, so you didn't have to watch but one, but I didn't think about that. I'm sorry. I'm just going to put it out with my diaper wipe. All right, last one. And then I promise we're going to move on to the cup. Okay, I need to put this out because this is a really thin area there in the center. And as it continues to smolder, it's going to continue to burn the paper. So you're going to get different effects. And so if it's getting thin in one of the sections, you really need to get that completely put out so that you don't completely burn that section down to where it breaks it in half. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to cut some of that white off because there's so much of it. I like it better when I can burn it off because it looks better. But in this case, I'm trying to hurry and there was a lot of it left. I'm just going to put that out just because it's getting towards the thin part. Same with this because it's a little thin. All right. We're almost to the end. Just going to put it out. You don't have to do this on the heavier widthed ones, but you need some smaller ones. It looks better when there's different size stripes than all just one size. I mean, if that's what you're going for it. But with this, I just think it looks better when they're different sized because it's supposed to look rugged and distressed. Just remember, if you have any questions or comments about this, let me know in the comment section. And if I can't see it, because I've never done a live before on here, so I'm not sure how that works. If I can't see it while I'm on live, I will answer them as soon as I'm done with the live. And I will answer every single one of them. I won't leave you hanging, I promise. All right, so we're done with this part. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of clean up with a diaper wipe really quick because I don't want this soot all over my paint on my cup. So I'm going to just clean up my mess real quick. Of course, you can see my table is already. I've done a lot of crafting on this table. Okay, so now we're done with our lighter, so I'm just going to move that out of my way. And here's our cup. I showed this at the beginning of the live, but if you weren't here, here it is. I've got my blue and my red painted. If you missed that, there is a part 1 to this video where I do show how to paint this tumbler. And it wasn't the easiest thing that day because I was in the wind and the wind kept blowing all my paint away. So it's not a perfect application, but you know what? This is a distressed cup. So it doesn't matter. That's the beauty of it. So I'm just going to pour some Mod Podge out, and I'm going to grab my brush. And we're going to get started. So this is the brush that I use. It's a nice thick brush, wide brush, and then I've got my Mod Podge. And then of course I have all my pieces. So I'm going to start with the We the People piece. Just, actually, you know what? No, I'm not. I am going to start with, I always forget. I like to start right at the bottom of the blue and go around like that first. Oh, sorry, you couldn't see that. Right at the bottom of my blue to cover like that, the transition between the colors. So I'm just going to dip into my Mod Podge, and I'm just going to put a nice thick layer of Mod Podge right around that section. And I don't worry about how thick I make it or anything, because you don't have to. The more Mod Podge you put on here, the easier it is for you to be able to move your paper around once you get it on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start back here. I'm going to start like right here at the side. Whoopsie. And, well, I'm used to working with regular paper, and this is not regular paper because I didn't think about that. I accidentally used cardstock, and I shouldn't have. All right, so I'm just going to hold it. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure y'all can still see. It's kind of a pain. All right, so then I'll just kind of go under here and make sure that that lays down. There we go. Make sure this is laid down. And then this is where, okay, so there's a gap, right? So we need to fill that gap. I'm going to wait a minute to fill that gap because I want to see what I have left first. So I'm going to go up to the top here, and I'm going to put a line right in the center. And I'm going to do kind of a thick line just because the We the People portion is kind of a thick piece of paper. But I mean, yours may not be as thick as mine, so however you want to do it. So then I'm going to take the We the People, and I'm going to stick it right here in the center. I'm going to try to kind of let it grab it. There we go. And then you bring it around until it gets to the blue. I just want to make sure that it's sticking before I move forward to the next step. So I'm just going to hold it for just a second to make sure that it is sticking. Let that Mod Podge dry just a little bit, just so it'll hold it. And now what you want to do is I take and just cut off a little portion. And then I'll take my lighter and I will burn the edge of that because I don't want it to go too much over the blue. It's okay if it goes a little bit over the blue, but I really don't want it to go a ton over the blue. And I kind of want to cut it down just a little bit more. Just try not to get your burnt pieces in your Mod Podge if you can. It's okay if you do a little bit, but you don't want a ton of that going on. So I just want to get this burning because I don't want a perfect edge. Some of it might be a little wet though. So I'm just going to blow it off, tap it off, whatever you got to do. Put a little bit of Mod Podge right underneath it, just so you can kind of press it down and make it stick. And then I just smooth out the Mod Podge right over the top. So far, that's what we have. We will fill in this gap in a minute though. Okay, so I have a football on a stick that I do want to use for this, for the bottom, because it's going to make our lives much easier. I'm just going to move you. I feel like I'm having to reach so far away. All right, so now I'm going to start down here and Again, just all the way around with your Mod Podge. And we're going to go in with another piece. And I like to start on where I started the previous one, because I like the whole seam to be on one side. So I'm just going to wrap this around and hold it until it's not moving anymore. Okay, so now what you're going to end up with is, can you see that right there? There's like a bubble right there, and that's okay, because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull my fingers in and I'm going to press it down anyways, and it's going to make a wrinkle. And the wrinkles look really cool underneath the epoxy. You don't want it to make a giant wrinkle, but it's okay if it does make some little wrinkles. So I'm just, I know you can't see this, but it's the only way I can hold. Let me see if I can move you. There we go, so you can see. I'm just pressing those in, trying to get everything to lay flat and create some wrinkles out of the loose gaps. Okay, because it's not perfectly round, so these aren't going to lay perfectly flat. So now I'm just going to go around the bottom and Mod Podge that real good. And we're going to put our last piece on for our stripes, and then we'll fill the rest of that in. So I do try to make sure that it looks like, and it may not be, but I try to make sure that it kind of looks like the wording is right side up. It's hard to read it, so you may not really be able to tell, but I try to make it appear that way. All right, so now I just need a little bit of Mod Podge right underneath here, just to lay that last end down. I'm just gonna run my brush over that, get some of that excess Mod Podge off, and then make sure that there's not any bubbles. And I don't think with this one that there is, because I kind of let it curve. There we go. All right, so now you need to fill in your gaps. So what I'm gonna do is I'll set this up, and I have one more piece left, which is generally how it goes. And I'm gonna figure out like how much I need, and then I'm just gonna cut it off and burn the edge or the end that I cut, because I don't want cut edges on this at all. I like them to be kind of more rounded and natural. All right, so now that I've done that, I will just put some Mod Podge here, and I like to overlap, because I will overlap those two pieces, because I like to try to blend them as much as possible, even though I know, and you know, it's not one piece. That's okay. So I'm just gonna hold that down until it's nice and stuck, and just make sure that there's not any underneath pieces. And then do the same thing with this. Not a giant piece, but we do need a little bit. And I'll just cut the end off and burn the end. And I'll just put it out with my fingers. And then again, we just go over the previous pieces. And then we lay down our new piece that will seam it all together. And this kind of gives it a little bit of a layered effect. I kind of like that. But I just think it just all makes it look really pretty. So now there's two things that you can do. You can go through here and use your flame really, really close, and I'll show you just so that you can see it, because I'm not going to do it on this cup. But if you hold it really close for a little while, you can get smoky parts in your paper. It's a lot faster to do this when you're using regular paper and not the kind that I'm using, because I use cardstock like an idiot. But if you hold it close enough, long enough, it's going to create smoky parts. As long as you don't Mod Podge over it first. I didn't Mod Podge that, did I? No. Anyways, that's how you do it, and it works better with regular paper. But then, if you don't want to do that, that's fine, because it looks just fine without it. But now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over the entire cup with a coat of Mod Podge. And this is going to help to seal everything in, because what's going to happen if you don't seal it, you're going to get these weird spots underneath your paper. And I don't mind that some, but I don't want a lot of it, because it's going to, you're going to kind of tell. And your customer might not know, or whoever you're doing the cut for, but you'll know, and it'll drive you crazy. You get like these wet spots under the cup, and that's what it looks like. The paper just looks wet. It's weird. But a few of them actually kind of looks cool, and it kind of makes it look like it did get wet on purpose. And so, and you'll get some of those if you only use 1 or 2 layers of Mod Podge. Now, if you don't want that effect, that's fine too. Just go through and do 3 to 4 layers of Mod Podge, and then you can even spray seal it just to make sure that you don't get any of those wet spots. Now I just go over the entire cup, including the blue area, just because I want the entire cup to look the same. And I'm always afraid that if I don't Mod Podge over the blue, that the blue is going to look cleaner than the rest of it. And I kind of like the brush stroke effect that you can't see that part when you get done, but when you do the distressing part of it, it kind of helps give it more character. So I'm going to do the bottom too. Can't leave the bottom out. Okay, so now we have our cup ready to go and done. Now it is ready for distressing, and it stars as soon as it's dry. Now, I'm not going to stay on live because this takes it a little bit to dry. But what I will do is there will be a part 3, and I will go in and distress this and show you how to do that and put the stars on so that you can see the final product. So anyhow, I hope that you've enjoyed this tutorial, and let me know if you have any questions or comments or anything. The other thing I meant to tell you a while ago, when I first started putting the stripes on, if you wanted to, you could do a diagonal. And I have done a diagonal stripe on the memorial cup that I did. And what you would do is just start here, and you would run your strip kind of along like this. And then you would just keep connecting strips and make the whole entire thing just swirl around the cup. So you can do that too. And I will post a video of the diagonal stripe so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. And also so you can kind of see how you can incorporate a picture and information on a person if you wanted to do one of these as a memorial cup. So anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope you'll watch my other videos. So don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and remember to leave your comments below. Thanks, and see you next video.